Live from our 7 Tasmania studios, your nightly news with Joe Palmer begins now.
Good evening, everyone. Large quantities of drugs, guns and cash have all been seized as part of a major police investigation targeting drug trafficking in the state's north. More than a dozen people have now been arrested, including a senior member of the Outlaws motorcycle gang.
A table covered with illicit substances, firearms and $175,000 in cash. The results of week-long police raids across Launceston.
We think this may put a sizable dent in drug distribution around Launceston.
More than 60 police officers and sniffer dogs uncovered trafficable amounts of drugs with a street value of $350,000, including heroin, hundreds of ecstasy pills and 12.5 ounces of ice.
To intercept that product before it is cut down and distributed is a really big plus for Tasmania.
12 people have been arrested as part of the 6-month covert investigation, which led police to the alleged ringleaders of a drug syndicate, including a senior Outlaws motorcycle member.
Our intelligence suggests that it's highly unlikely that these drugs were manufactured within Tasmania.
$250,000 in stolen property was also discovered. The operation is still ongoing and police haven't ruled out more raids and further arrests.
Going forward, we will target other serious drug offenders. We have a list and we're going to work through the list.
Garth Burley, 7 Tasmania News.
Police are calling for the public's help in tracking down a motorbike used in an armed robbery over the weekend. A white Suzuki is wanted in connection to a hold-up of the Cold Rock Ice Creamery in Launceston last Saturday night. Police are urging anyone that saw the vehicle in the CBD last Friday to call Crime Stoppers.
We'd really like to speak to you, especially if you have some vision of that motorcycle.
Investigations are continuing. Cricket Australia is under fire for slugging a Tasmanian player with a 1-year ban for a seemingly innocent social media joke. Emily Smith was poking fun at herself in the post, but inadvertently revealed the Hobart Hurricanes batting order. The ban has been labelled as heavy-handed by some.
The Hurricanes flying out of Hobart this morning, one player down. WBBL wicketkeeper Emily Smith slapped with a 1-year ban for a social media blunder.
It's a very hard thing for her to take. She loves her cricket, she's been improving really well, but it'll take a bit of time for her to digest, I think.
Cricket Australia finding she breached the anti-corruption code when earlier this month she posted an Instagram video of her team lineup before its official release. 9 months of the ban will be suspended, but it takes her out for the rest of the season.
While Emily did the wrong thing, it wasn't with malicious intent and was an innocent mistake. So I think that the sanction's about right.
Gutted for Emily and the situation, and what we're going to do is make sure we support her fully. Looking forward to her coming back before the season ends.
Her video poking fun at her own low batting position, filmed in a restricted area of West Park in Burnie, where phones aren't allowed. It's a decision the Australian Cricketers Association deemed heavy-handed, especially compared to Australian cricketer James Pattinson, who was given a 1-match ban on Sunday after an alleged homophobic slur.
Do you think it's too harsh?
Look, I can't really talk about that. It's obviously CA's decision in around all that stuff, so it's not for me to say.
Everyone knows in cricket that you aren't to use your phones in the change room. Everyone knows the rules. So there's certainly ignorance isn't an excuse, and nor is that it's a mistake.
Wicketkeeper Emma Mannix-Jeeves will now take her place. Smith isn't appealing the decision. Michelle Wisby, 7 Tasmania News.
A failure to predict a massive rise in prison inmates has caused staff shortages and more emergency lockdowns, according to a damning new report. Unions say it's unthinkable nobody saw the spiralling numbers in the face of tougher laws.
The verdict is in, and it's not good for the justice system.
The Tasmanian Prison Service hasn't been using its resources efficiently. and this has had an adverse impact on the effectiveness in the way in which the prison service has been operated.
Inmate numbers have risen 30% between 2013 and 2018. Lockdowns have also jumped from 14,000 to 340,000 a year. Despite tougher laws and more arrests, the department did not see the increase coming.
And all this has had an adverse impact in terms of their cost efficiency.
Unions say it's a stunning failure.
I think it's appalling that we were unable to predict exactly what everybody knew would happen when you cut bail and you reduced other options.
Jails are relying heavily on staff working overtime, leading to mounting sick days.
It's not good enough. It is causing them damage, and it needs to be addressed.
We certainly understand the demand pressures that are being felt in the prison and will respond accordingly, and will always listen to outside advice.
The government is still pushing ahead with mandatory sentencing for child sex offenders, but the report found mandatory sentencing is partly to blame for the prisoner increase. And there's now questions over whether sex offenders are receiving treatment due to lockdowns.
It is also important that programs can be run so that we can respond to the high rates of recidivism in Tasmania.
The Department of Justice says it's already addressing the report's 5 recommendations. Sean McComish, 7 Tasmania News.
A 21-year-old Taroona man has been charged in relation to the graffiti of 3 Tasmanian public buses. Police say the vehicles were defaced at Metro's Moona and Lauderdale depots last week. The man has been charged with 3 counts each of trespass, destroy or injure property and mark graffiti. Police are continuing investigations. A damaged French icebreaker docked in Hobart will have to be removed from the water for repairs. Divers continued inspections today on the Astrolabe, which has suffered an issue with its propulsion system. Early assessments have revealed it will need to be dry docked to be fixed. That means it can't complete vital resupply missions for French Antarctic bases, and personnel who've spent the winter there are now stranded. The French Polar Institute says it's exploring solutions with the international community of Antarctic operators, and it may have to charter another vessel. French authorities still haven't revealed what caused the damage. And the search for life on a distant moon could begin in the frozen wilderness of Antarctica. In just a few hours' time, NASA will fly a one-of-a-kind robot from Hobart to Casey Station. It's hoped the trip will be a tester for a mission to Jupiter.
With 2 wheels and a set of lights, this robot is a far cry from science fiction. As modest as it looks, it's perfect for exploring Earth's iciest places, and hopefully one day here, the moon of Europa, orbiting Jupiter.
Part of what's tremendously exciting about worlds like Europa is that this is a world where a liquid water ocean exists today. And if we've learned anything about life on Earth, it's that where you find the liquid water, you find life.
Even if a mission reaches the moon, it would have to deal with a thick surface of ice covering the ocean.
Getting through the ice is the big logistical challenge for going to a world like Europa. It's likely there's 10 kilometres of ice that we have to drill through.
Researchers have also enlisted the help of Australia's mining experts, already relying on robots.
We have machines that need robust communication systems from a long, long way away. They need to be able to maintain themselves, or preferably be designed to not break in the first place.
The rover has been tested in Alaska. Now they're preparing to take it to Casey Station, where it will wander beneath the ice of the vast continent. A Clipper mission is expected to launch in 2025 that could scope out potential landing sites, with a surface mission to follow in the decades later.
Potentially answering that age-old question, are we alone?
An answer we might have to put on ice just for now. Sean McComish, 7 Tasmania News.
It's in the air we breathe and the water we drink. Now Tasmania is nearly ready to harness the power of hydrogen. A new report claims it will be cheaper to produce the energy here than in other states. But critics claim we're too late to the party.
We already use wind and water to power our homes. Now hydrogen is looking more and more likely to enter the mix.
For the export market, for Japan, for Korea, for China, in the carbon-constrained world that we're now living in, they are looking for options in terms of energy.
Today's release of a draft action plan includes the backing of Hydro Tasmania, which claims it could be up to 15% cheaper to produce hydrogen here than on the mainland.
This is because other Australian jurisdictions predominantly rely on fossil fuels and would need to purchase a carbon offset or a carbon credit to achieve a green certification for hydrogen.
Hydrogen is most commonly found in water, but when isolated, it turns into fuel. A facility to perform this high-tech process is earmarked for Bell Bay, and with a promise of 1,200 jobs by 2030 attached, it could soften the blow should troubled neighbour Temco close its doors.
Having additional industries in our area would further underpin the growth that we're experiencing.
The Bell Bay facility could power the equivalent of 90,000 homes. Labor says we're still too far behind the 8 ball.
We know other states, Queensland, South Australia and WA in particular, are already well advanced in terms of implementation of their strategy. We're worried it's too little, it's too late.
Public feedback is now open until early next year. Tom Johnson, 7 Tasmania News.
Tasmanian researchers are expanding a study to unlock the mysteries of dementia. They're hoping to find out the biggest risk factors behind a significant local health issue.
This may not look like your average research lab, but these Tasmanians are lifting their weight ahead of a groundbreaking local study into a hidden disease.
Well, this is the world's first attempt to take a whole population, if you like, and to see whether we can modify the risk factors for dementia at the population level. So it's a major public health exercise.
And to achieve this, the Island Project is today calling for more than their participant target.
Getting 10,000 people to sign up for a research project in 6 months is unprecedented in Australia and across the world. And that's why we've become a bit more ambitious to see if we can increase that by another 5,000.
With the 10-year study placing risks such as social factors, mental and particularly physical health under the microscope.
Part of this project is to get people involved in increasing their physical activity so that we can see how much of that you need to do to actually gain a benefit in terms of risk of dementia.
And it's said Tasmania will be the right fit for the research.
It's the second leading cause of death at the moment and the highest with females. And we know that with an ageing population in Tasmania, that will grow.
We have the oldest population of any state or territory in Australia. Many of the risk factors that we know are important for dementia, unfortunately we have them at very high levels throughout Tasmania.
The study is expected to begin in 2 years. Ruby Kamane, 7 Tasmania News.
One of the world's top professional darts players, known as the Hammer, is about to take on Tasmania's best. Andy Hamilton will try for a 9-dart finish in a one-off exhibition, which hopes to draw more players to the sport. Through a chorus of commotion, enter the Hammer. Yes, his entrance music really is MC Hammer, and he packs an inflatable prop everywhere he goes, including to Tasmania, where he'll bring a piece of pro darts to the East Devonport Recreation Centre this weekend.
It's not every day you get to play somebody of Andy's calibre.
The Hammer will throw against local qualifiers, including Ulverston's Dwayne Seaborn, who recently won a title at the Australasian Championships in New South Wales.
He's based in the UK, he's played professional darts for God knows how many years. He's played against all the best players, he's made a World Championship final.
Along with being a celebration of darts, the event's hoping to hit the bullseye with junior players, where participation numbers are in dire straits.
Our numbers for under 30 dropping off dramatically. Last year our under 18 side only just had enough to fill the side, so we need players to come in.
It's hoped the chance to hit a triple 20 against a pro player will entice juniors and seniors.
I love the game, but it's the people that you meet along the way, and that's what I like about the darts.
To stay totally focused, yet another 180.
It's on this Sunday from noon.
Good evening. Mostly cloudy over the west and south today. Clear conditions over the north and east. Launceston's 24, the state's highest. Hobart and Devonport 19 degrees and Burnie 21. Lyoweeney, the low with -1. Friendly Beaches 21 today. Smithton 19. Low Head and St Helens 18. Strawn, Grove and the Islands 16 degrees. No rainfall today after Lake Margaret registered 42 millimetres in the previous 24 hours. Now here's that cloud across the west and south of the state. Mid to low level cloud moved over the northeast later in the day. More cloud is clutching the south of Victoria and the Bight. Mid-level cloud drifts over Western Australia. Cumulus cloud developed over the top end and eastern Queensland. Tomorrow the high moves over the Tasman Sea, pushing a more northerly airstream our way. Several troughs remain over the mainland and a cold front crosses southern WA. Winds east-northeasterly and increasing to 20 to 30 knots in the afternoon, so windy again, great for the hay fever. 10 to 20 knots over northern waters and lighter inland. A gale warning has been issued for waters between Sandy Cape and Stanley, a strong wind warning from the top of Flinders Island to South East Cape and from Low Rocky Point to Sandy Cape. Hobart, a possible late shower. 8 overnight, a top of 23 tomorrow, 21 for Geeveston with a light shower for Bothwell, 22 the maximum. 21 for Launceston, a cloudy day, partly cloudy for Devonport, 18 the top and 21 for Cressy. Burnie can expect a high of 17 degrees, partly cloudy, a possible light shower for Strawn on 23, Curry partly cloudy, 20 degrees, 21 the top for St Helens, maybe an early shower clearing, partly cloudy for Swansea, 23 and 22 for Orford. Now Joe Palmer is slapping on a broad-brimmed terry toweling hat tomorrow as the UV jumps to a very high 10. Now on to Thursday, temperatures will jump as well up to the mid-30s over the east coast, encouraging a late shower for some. Fine and partly cloudy on Friday, Strawn expecting a shower or two in the evening. Showers about the west on Saturday, extending statewide during the morning before easing in the afternoon and contracting to the west. An early shower forecast for Perth tomorrow before a sunny afternoon. Partly cloudy in Melbourne, Sydney and Canberra. A sunny 32 forecast for Brisbane and very hot 42s for Alice Springs and Adelaide. Cloud dissipating from Hobart at the moment, 13 degrees, 19 and partly cloudy in Launceston, 19 also in Devonport. Joe, that's the way it's all shaping up.
All right, thank you very much, Murph. That's all from the team for now. Have a lovely evening. See you a little later. Bye-bye.